Yellow. This is called dimensional analysis. And in a lot of ways, it's the fastest one of all. What we do, we're not going to use the equal sign here. You're going to have whatever your number is times some fraction going to be the answer. If we take this first step, we have what? 12 yards. We're going to multiply it by some fraction to change it to feet. What do you suppose we're going to, where's the fraction going to come from? This is from the conversion factor number again. Can I make a fraction out of these two? I can have 1 yard over 3 feet, or 3 feet over 1 yard. They're equal, right? So if we compare them to each other, it's going to be 1. Which one do we use though? Well, even forget, how do you multiply a whole number by a fraction? We didn't do that the other day, did we? What can we do with a whole number multiplied by a fraction? Can we change that to a fraction? So now we got fraction times fraction. What do you know about fraction? We just talked about it in the proportions. If you have the same thing in the top of the fraction and the bottom of the fraction, what happens? They cancel each other out, right? I need to get rid of yards so I can have feet. So which one of these is going to get rid of the yards? Where's the yards here? On the top. Where does that have to be so it'll cancel out? On the bottom. Which one of these puts yards on the bottom? Again, how much math have I done so far? Done. Did you multiply that out? 36 over 1, which is 36. Oh. So then we go to step 2. 36 feet. And what fraction gives me inches? Okay, so now we're using the purple one. What goes on the top, what goes on the bottom. And I always do this to remind myself. Where's the feet? On the top. So where does it have to be to cancel out? On the bottom. So which one goes on the bottom? Two over 1, which is the one. The reason I said this can be even faster, because the chemistry and physics people don't do it in 2 steps. They say, oh, I got it to have 2 steps. 2 steps and then 2 fractions. So they do it like this. 12 yards. Time. 1 fraction for the first step, and a 2nd fraction for the 2nd step. What goes here? Let's see it. Yards in the top, have to get rid of it. Where does it go? In the bottom. My yards cancel out. Now I got feet. It's in the top, and it's in the bottom, so they all cancel. Again, how much math have I done so far? None. Can you multiply three fractions together? That's why you'll see the science people do this. Because I remember classes where you had like 5 different conversions you had to do. Because your answer's in moles, but we need to know how many milligrams that is. We had to change the moles to molecules, and then the molecules to the atomic number, and then the atomic number gives me the number of grams, and the grams to milligrams. And they do it all this way. So which way should you use? Which of the 5 choices? Whichever one you can wrap your head around. I don't care. One of the reasons this is on here is because there's usually one of only 3 classes people leave after A100. They either go to 107, 109, or 111. 107, yeah, we do a little bit of this. 109, we do a whole bunch of this. 111, we may or may not if we get far. Depends on who you got and how far you get into. It's like one of the last topics. Some people get a little behind, so they kind of gloss through it. Yeah. Depending on what class you take next, you may end up doing this a lot. Yay. Okay. That's what everything here in section 12 is all about, with the exception of number 5. What's going on in 5? You're matching. Which one of those A, B, C, or D on the right matches the item, the description on the left? The height of the car, what's that going to be? Yeah. Kind of process of elimination. Have you ever seen a car that's 1 inch? Well, but if it's a matchbox, Craig, that's not a car, that's a toy. Could you imagine a car that's 120 yards tall? Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous, huh? Okay. Now the other issue is how many of you know how many ounces are to a cup? Or cup to a pint? Pint to a quart? Quart to a gallon? How many ounces are in a pound? How many pounds are in a ton? You should know all of those. Those are basic Americana. Because you live in this country, you should know it. But I helped you out a little bit. Do you see? Boom. I'm going to reword that. Right below homework set 12. Boom, there you go. I put them in there for you. Now, do you notice we don't list all of them? Does anybody know off the top of their head what yards to inches was? If you knew that 1 yard was 36 inches, we could have done that in one step, couldn't we? But most people don't. But those are the basics you should know. You might want to print this off somewhere. We're going to talk about metrics here in a minute. There's some formulas here at the back. As I told you, I'm going to expect you to know how to do perimeters of rectangles and areas of rectangles. Well, and circles too. But does anybody know what the area of a rectangle or triangle is? There's no reason for you to. Or surface area? Okay.